Hello and welcome to Symbols and Cynicism, a podcast where we talk about all of the things that I love, some of the things that I hate, and this wacky adventure that we call life. My name is Bob, I'm your host, and I'm glad you're here today for Clone Wars Season 2, Episodes 20, 21, and 22. We have something neat with Matt, and why are you counting the days? Let's get started. Welcome back to the program. We've got some Star Wars news. Not really news. If you're paying attention, you knew this already. But this week coming up, we're just a few days away from the Mandalorian and Grogu movie. It comes out this week, premieres Thursday, full schedule in theaters on Friday. Now, to be honest, I love the Mandalorian. I love him in the Mandalorian. I love him in Boba Fett. I think it's a great story with a lot of great characters, but I do not expect much from this movie. Maybe I'm wrong. Actually, I hope that I'm wrong. But look at it this way. We have 3 seasons of The Mandalorian. Really 4 seasons, because Boba Fett is really just a season of The Mandalorian. And they are great stories. Great film, great stories, fully developed characters, fully developed long-form storytelling. How can a 2-hour movie live up to that? I'm a little worried this is going to be like 2 hours of Grogu being cute and Mando being tough and not really offer much new to the story. Like, is this just going to be Baby Yoda for 2 hours? I love Grogu. He's a really great character, but let's develop something. In the series, we get Bo-Katan, Quill, Paz Vizsla, the Armorer, Boba Fett, Fennec Shand, Grief Karga, Moff Gideon, Peli Mott, Ahsoka, Luke, Cobb Vanth, Cad Bane, Migs Mayfeld, a Rancor, the Darksaber, and so much more. How can a single 2-hour movie possibly live up to that? Keep in mind, this is the first Star Wars story where a movie follows a long-form series. It's always been the other way around. When we got Obi-Wan Kenobi, we already had movies with Obi-Wan Kenobi. When we got Ahsoka, we already had Ahsoka, granted, not in a movie. So I don't know. We'll see how it goes. Yes, I will go see it. I don't expect much. Full non-spoiler report next week. Before we get started, just a quick reminder, tell your friends about the show. Share us on Facebook. Tell your friends. More listeners is more fun. You can find us on YouTube at Robert H. Sloan RHS Music. That includes podcast episodes, shorts, and Star Wars episodes only playlist. There's some RHS music stuff there too. We are on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok at Symbols and Cynicism, a podcast. And speaking of RHS music, we are having our end of the school year, early summer sale. So if you're a band director and you're looking for some chamber music or concert band music, all digital and physical copies are on sale right now, 20% off with the promo code RHS Summer. That's one word, RHS SUMMER, and 30% off if you spend $250 or more. So finish out that PO with us and get some great music all set for next year. You can check that out on rhsmusic.online. The promo code is RHSSUMMER, or you can email me at roberthsloan@gmail.com. On today's show, Clone Wars Season 2, Episodes 20, 21, and 22, Something Neat with Matt, more books with Dawn, and why are you counting the days? Clone Wars. Let's roll. Clone Wars Season 2, Episodes 20, 21, and 22. Finally, we're here. I do apologize for all of the promotion of this particular episode and then the delay. And yes, we're going to do it, then a delay. But we have arrived. Let's dive in. We put it off for good reason. We had a bunch of great interviews, and let's sneak in retirement, and let's sneak in interviews. And we just kind of like had all this stuff. But we're here. No more delays. It has been 8 weeks since we have done a Clone Wars episode. We've had some Star Wars in there, but not specifically Clone Wars. So quick reminder, we are in the midst of our Clone Wars coverage. We're in season 2. In fact, these 3 episodes finish off Season 2. So the next time we talk about Clone Wars, we'll be into Season 3, but a lot to go before we are there. This is the era that begins at the end of the movie Episode 2, Attack of the Clones, and ends during the movie Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith. This is the war that starts at the end of one movie and ends in Episode 3. Today, we find ourselves on an adventure with Boba Fett. We are probably all familiar with Boba Fett. We first saw Boba in the original trilogy as a bounty hunter working for Vader. And maybe you've watched the series, The Book of Boba Fett, so you have a picture of that Boba Fett. Now that's old Boba Fett. That's post-original trilogy. Mandalorian and Boba Fett series are after Return of the Jedi. Today, we are way earlier in his story. He is not the feared, ruthless bounty hunter and warlord that he eventually becomes. Today, Boba is still a kid. He's a child. But let's back up even further than that. Boba Fett is a clone. Let's back up further. Remember back to movie Episode 2, Attack of the Clones? Obi-Wan Kenobi goes to a planet called Kamino on an investigation. During that investigation, he finds out that the Kaminoans are creating an army of clones for the Republic as purchased in secret by Jedi Master Sifo Dyas. Remember all that? Kaminoans are creating this clone army from a genetic template from a donor whose name is Jango Fett, who is at that time residing on Kamino. Jango Fett was a Mandalorian male bounty hunter widely regarded as the best bounty hunter in the galaxy. He fought in the Mandalorian Civil War before becoming a bounty hunter, and as a bounty hunter worked with the likes of Cad Bane, we've heard of him, Aurra Sing, talk about more about her in a bit. Zam Wesell. Now, Zam Wesell is the bounty hunter changeling that attempts to murder Padme in the movies, and Hondo Ohnaka. We'll talk about him a little later too. He's the pirate. We love Hondo. Hondo's the best. Jango was hired by Darth Tyrannus, who we usually call Count Dooku, to serve as the genetic foundation for the clones. In return for his genetic donation, Jango was given a handsome sum of money, the rights to live on Kamino and come and go as he pleases, using it as his base for whatever deeds he is doing, and also he requested an unaltered clone which he could raise as his son. The Kaminoans did not create exact genetic replicas of Jango. They were enhanced with certain alterations. This was at the request of Master Sifo Dyas. One of those alterations was an inhibitor chip, which we will discuss at length later when we get to it. Today, it's a change. Another one of those alterations that the Kaminoans made was an age acceleration so that it did not take 20 years to grow a full-fledged clone and be able to put them into service. Clones aged at twice the normal rate, so it only took 10 years to get a clone fully trained, fully grown, and out into the field. Jango's unaltered clone was named Boba. Boba does not have age acceleration. He ages as a normal Mandalorian would. He also does not have an inhibitor chip. At the onset of the Clone Wars, Jango and his 10-year-old son Boba traveled to Geonosis to assist Count Dooku. We see this at the end of Attack of the Clones. This trip would prove to be the first battle of Geonosis and the first battle of the Clone Wars. During the battle, Mace Windu kills Jango by cutting off his head with a lightsaber. Boba witnesses the event. We see him in the movie pick up the helmet of his father and look at the helmet. Now, ignore for the fact that his father's head is also in that helmet, so that's like A, disgusting, and B, traumatic. For obvious reasons, this left Boba in a very bad way. And we know full well that in the galaxy far, far away, those with traumatic events never seek counseling. Boba is among them, apparently never got counseling. We now pick up his story 1 year later after the events on Geonosis found at the end of the movie Attack of the Clones. Boba, now 11 years old. So, Figure he's about a fifth grader for the American educational system. He's about that age. He has presumably spent the last year with Aura Singh, Bosk, and Castus, who are three major characters in this particular story. Aura Singh is a female bounty hunter who trained under, guess who? Jango Fett. So clearly she has a connection to Boba. Bosk is a bounty hunter. Notably, we've seen him before. He's a Trandoshan, kind of those lizard guys, seen in a small role in the original trilogy. Castus, likewise, is a bounty hunter. Aura Singh is the leader of this group and has taken Boba on as a protege, clearly caring for him and training him in the ways of bounty hunting. Their goal on this particular mission here is revenge for Boba through the death of Mace Windu. Boba, instead of going to therapy, has decided to kill Mace Windu for having killed his father. Plan A. Boba sneaks aboard a Republic Jedi cruiser hidden among the clone cadet trainees. They all appear to be the same age, but since the clones age twice as fast, Boba ages regularly. He has actually lived twice as long, but they appear to be the same age, so he can just sort of blend in and be on the ship. Boba attempts to blow up Mace's quarters. His bomb succeeds, but misses Mace, who survives and instead kills a clone. Plan B, let's blow up the ship. Again, he does manage to blow up the ship, but again fails a second time to kill Mace. Before the ship goes down, the bounty hunters take hostages in the hopes of luring Mace to them to rescue the bounty hunters, and then they could kill Mace. This is Plan C, apparently. Before Plan C is put into action, Mace and Anakin return to the wreckage to scout for survivors. While scouting for survivors, Mace and Anakin become trapped, and now Boba and crew decide to just go on the ship and kill him while they're trapped. Plan D. This plan fails as well since the ship is falling apart. They can't get up. It's way too dangerous. So much for Plan D. That failed. Hey, back to Plan C. Plan C was to use the hostages to lure Mace. Plan C does not lure Mace. He is too injured from the ship wreckage, so instead, Plo Koon and Ahsoka go to rescue the hostages. Interesting of note here is some mentoring taking place between Aura Singh and Boba Fett as we go. Boba Fett is single-minded, kill Mace, but he doesn't have the tools, the planning. Aura Singh there, Boba, you should do this. Boba, you should say this. Boba, you should do that. And one of the things she wants him to do is to kill a hostage, to prove his might, to threaten Mace, like, we're going to kill one hostage every hour until you come to fight Boba. And Boba hesitates. He's okay with blowing up Mace's quarters. He's okay with even blowing up Mace's ship and putting tons of other people. But when it comes to putting a gun to a clone's head, he can't pull the trigger. He hesitates. Clearly, Aura Singh is disappointed. She kills the clone instead. And this is clear evidence that he is not yet the ruthless character that we will see later in his development. But hey, he's 11. Give the kid a break. While waiting for Mace to arrive to rescue the hostages, they pay a visit to our good old friend Hondo Ohnaka on Florum, where, interesting here, Aura Singh and Hondo in a relationship? They kiss? They flirt? They hint? Probably at best this was a quick fling. I'm not familiar with the whole backstory there, but I think it's kind of funny. I think it's kind of cute. Also, some great examples here of Hondo remaining neutral to the entire situation. Aura Singh wants his help. He says, nope, this is your fight, not mine. Later, when the Jedi arrive, he doesn't want to help them either. Always honor among pirates with this guy. What a guy. Love Hondo. We get a great fight scene here. We get a chase. Ahsoka on a speeder bike chasing Aura Singh. Ultimately, we do rescue the hostages, of course, except for the one that died. Boba and Bosk are taken into custody. Aura Singh appears to have escaped. She kind of crashed in the ship. We don't really know what happened to her. Castus escaped long ago because he chickened out between Plan C and D somewhere when we started killing hostages. He was like, oop, too much for me, man. I'm out of here. Before going to jail, Boba vows to Mace never to forgive him. You killed my father. I will never forgive you. And Mace replies, well, you're going to have to. Mace replies, well, you're going to have to. Look, Clone Wars has great dialogue, but not this, not here. That's terrible. You're going to have to. First of all, not true. He does not have to forgive you. That's not a thing you can make somebody do. Second of all, what a stupid thing to say. How about we'll see about that? How about I'll give you some time in a cell to think about it? That would be cool. What about anything but you're going to have to? Worst Mace Windu line ever. So, Boba's in prison, and we don't know how he gets out. That's okay. Boba does appear throughout the rest of our Clone Wars coverage at times. He'll come and go throughout the story. Look, the point here is this is a great look at Boba's lingering feelings and a peek into why he becomes what he becomes. It's hatred of Mace. It's trained by Aura Singh, the great bounty hunter. He's not out there on his own doing that. He has help. It's also a great look at that partial development. He has the desire, but not the tools, not the guts. He's not ruthless yet. And isn't it great that we get to see him as this kid, this 10 and 11-year-old. Then we'll see him as a fully fledged bounty hunter later in the story, and eventually, ultimately, a warlord on Tatooine. Great arc for a classic original trilogy character. Man, Star Wars is like pizza. This is great pizza today. It's fun, it's ruthless, it's backstory, it's future hints, it's all the things. I love Star Wars. I love the Clone Wars. Go watch some Star Wars. Well, hey, Matt, happy Speed Week.
Vroom, vroom.
Vroom, vroom. It is one of your favorite weeks of the year.
I would even venture to say my favorite month of the year.
Favorite month? Well, we talked about the Kentucky Derby. That was a couple weeks ago.
Yes.
That's in May. Now we're closer to the end of May, and we are, as this podcast posts, at the beginning of what is referred to as Speed Week, which is a whole bunch of things that leads up to
The Indianapolis 500.
the Indianapolis 500, auto racing's finest, greatest thing ever. You know, I always felt when I was growing up, we watched a lot of auto racing when I was a kid. My dad was a big car nut, loved to watch NASCAR mostly. I always felt like NASCAR races are a great time to nap.
And you know, as a motorsports enthusiast, I would agree.
You're like,
I'd agree.
Yeah, it's like 90 seconds of fun followed by a 2-hour nap.
Yes.
On a Sunday afternoon.
Yes. And then wake up towards the end when there's, 20, 25 laps left and find out who wins the race. I will. Even myself, with as much as I love racing, there are times that I either don't watch the race or I just, okay.
Well, you get into even like the 24-hour
Oh, the 20, yeah.
endurance races.
Yes.
Or
The most I've watched of a 24-hour race is 21 hours.
21 hours.
Yes.
Was that consecutive, or you took a little nappy?
No, that was consecutive.
Consecutive, okay.
That was consecutive.
Well, the Indianapolis 500, Indy 500, is not NASCAR. It's not an endurance race. It's a Formula One. Is that what they call those?
IndyCar.
IndyCar.
They look like Formula One
Pretty
cars.
close. They got the open wheels.
Yeah, they're open wheel cars. Yep.
And go fast, turn left.
Go fast, turn left. That's right.
That's what they do there. And so Speed Week, what are kind of the events? Well, first we'll talk about Speed Week in a minute. What are we drinking? This is a way different episode. What are we drinking today?
This is a finely aged, I guess you could say. It ages pretty quick if you don't go through it.
Yes.
An interesting distilling technique for this specific beverage is pasteurization.
Yeah, Louis Pasteur.
Yeah, sure. We're drinking a nice cold glass of milk.
You've got the moo cow milk.
Mm-hmm.
I've got the almond milk. I didn't know that you could milk almonds. Do they have
We need
do
to
they
stop.
have a no,
We need to stop milking things.
I agree.
We have plenty of animals to milk. We don't need to get milk out of nuts.
I prefer almond milk most of the time, especially in things like smoothies and whatnot. Much lower calorie, much higher, of the other good stuff. So yeah, and why on earth, in something neat with Matt, would we be drinking milk?
Well, I mean, technically, this milk is neat because we're not drinking it on the rocks.
It is. There's no ice.
Anyways, milk is perhaps one of the most iconic celebratory beverages of any autosport race. It started sort of by accident. In 1936, Louis Meyer won his third Indianapolis 500, and he was a connoisseur of buttermilk, and so his drink of choice when he got out of the car, he pulled into Victory Lane, got out of the car, and somebody handed him a glass of buttermilk, and that was what he drank. And he said that his mom told him that that's the best way to quench your thirst. And so ever since then, the American Dairy Association of Indiana has sponsored the winner to have a glass bottle of milk as their celebration.
Have you ever accidentally drank buttermilk?
I've never accidentally drank buttermilk.
It's freaking disgusting. It's thick. I mean, you put it in buttermilk usually is like
you put it in
stuff like cooking.
right?
I don't know. I mean, the jug looks like milk-ish. And I remember this is a couple years ago. Dawn had it for cookies, baking cookies. I think the sugar cookies she has. And I was like, oh look, I put it on my cereal.
Oops.
It's like, oh, that's kind of thick.
Like putting beer in your smoothie.
And oftentimes you see it kind of, they dump the milk over their heads to...
Yeah.
You think about the Mayo Bowl, the football Mayo Bowl, where they dump the mayo on the winning coach's head, or the Cheez-Its Bowl. All imitators. Indy 500 was first with the whole milk thing. 1936.
1936. And that was his third. And it was his third consecutive. And he claimed that he had drank the milk in 1933 as well. Okay. But there was no photographic evidence. Probably one of the more disgusting things. Well, before we get into that, with the milk, every driver, one of the ceremonial aspects of the Indy 500 is every driver gets to pick the milk that they want. You can have whole, buttermilk, 2%, skim. I don't think they have almond. I know they have chocolate milk.
Okay.
But then they have...
chocolate milk. I love me some chocolate milk.
Chocolate milk is good. I think that's the elite milk. Anyways, so they get to pick their milk. And then, obviously whoever wins, they get that bottle. There has been one driver in the history of the Indy 500 that did not drink the milk.
Dale Earnhardt.
No. Never competed in the Indy 500. No. But I'm proud of you for knowing that name.
I mean, he went fast, turned left.
Not as fast as these guys, but you're right.
Okay.
Close enough. One driver did not drink the milk, and he had orange juice. And actually, if you ask Candy her opinion on Emerson Fittipaldi and him not drinking the milk, you'll get her fired up. She'll give you a 2-hour episode of podcast.
Was he like lactose intolerant or?
No. He, from where he was born and raised, they were orange farmers.
Oh.
And so that was paying homage to his family, which does not matter to Candy. She's still pretty passionate about the milk.
Okay. So then did the milk tradition start immediately thereafter? Like after the 3 years of his name winning, and then just kept on going? It's kind of like they say, like in high school, oh, that's a tradition. Well, to high school kids, anything's a tradition if they do it more than twice in a row, because it's like half their career. Things become tradition very fast to a high school,
Yes.
3 years, and then ever since then, huh?
Ever since then.
Okay.
Going back to your original question, though, of, some of the events that lead up to the Indy 500, lots of practice time. The last couple days, they've been on track practicing. And then they'll have qualifying, something that's a little bit of a bummer this year. So there's 33 cars that make the Indy 500. And typically, they'll have bump day. They'll have qualifying and then bump day.
Is that where they play bumper cars?
No. If you play bumper cars, you may die.
Oh, sure.
We don't want to play bumper cars with these cars. So they have bump day. And usually there are more entries than there are spots. So there's usually 3 or 4 cars that they are trying to bump the last car out so that they can make the Indy 500.
You know how they should decide who gets in is they should bring out cows
and have the racers milk the cows, and whoever can milk the most milk out of good old Bessie gets to race in the Indy 500.
That would be interesting. The winner does get to go milk a cow, though.
Seriously?
Yeah, they do.
Okay.
They do. There's a lot of celebrations if you win this race.
Look, I've milked a cow. That's no celebration, my friend. Have you ever milked a cow? I've also
never
milked a
milked a cow.
goat.
I've never milked a cow on purpose.
I've milked a goat. That was interesting.
Now that I think about it, I don't know how you accidentally milk a cow.
Yeah.
Maybe surprise it, spook it.
What is your favorite milk? Are you a 2% guy, skim guy, whole? What are you? You're drinking 2% because that's what we have in the house. But
Right,
what's your
right.
preferred?
I would say probably whole.
Whole milk.
Whole milk. A good thick glass of cold milk.
Good fatty McFat.
You know, I ordered milk one time at Frickers.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they have good milk.
Did they have milk?
They had milk. Yeah, they looked a little distraught when I ordered it, but they have it.
Yeah. Okay. So what's your favorite event on? Obviously, the race is your favorite event on Speed Week. Probably, what's your other favorite?
Qualifying, because that's a really big deal. You know, over the last couple of years, there have been some track records that have been set. Last year, it was a single car team with a rookie driver that he went out and he laid down. I think it was a 234 mile an hour lap to set the pole, and that was a track record. So that was pretty cool. Did terrible in the race, but at least he got started in the front.
People say, well, how can you watch practice? How can you watch qualifying? And I would say, well, you watch 4 days of the NFL draft. All they're doing is picking players. Or the combine, where all dudes are doing is running 40-yard dash. It's the same thing. Or you think about the Super Bowl, which starts at 6 p.m. or whatever the game starts, and pregame starts on Monday.
Yeah.
It's the same thing. This is the biggest sporting event in IndyCar, right?
It's the greatest spectacle in racing.
Spectacle
That's the name of it.
in racing.
And
It's kind of like pod racing from Star Wars, from the Phantom Menace, when Anakin races the little pod racer guys, right?
Yeah.
Like they go around and they see who's the fastest, and they do the bumping. If you ain't bumping, you ain't racing.
That's right.
Or something like that,
That's right.
I hate that scene too, because it is 90 seconds of fun, followed by 2 hours of boring.
Yes.
That's when I take a nap in Star Wars. I have no idea who even wins the pod race.
I don't know who wins it either.
That's Anakin.
Spoiler alert, I guess.
It's Anakin.
Oh, okay. Well, I guess I don't need to watch that anymore.
Who's your pick this year? Do you have a favorite? I mean, I guess that's two different questions. Who's your favorite IndyCar driver?
Are you asking me to pick a driver, or because I follow a team?
Oh, follow a team.
follow a
who's
team.
your team?
I
Is it the Indianapolis Colts? Are they a team?
They are.
Are
yeah,
they in
but
auto
they're
racing?
no, they're not in auto
don't
racing.
do that.
There are days I don't even think they're in football.
Fair enough.
I follow Team Penske. Roger Penske actually owns IndyCar, and he owns Indianapolis Motor Speedway because he's filthy stinking rich
Sounds
and
like cheating.
Well, actually, last year his team was caught cheating, and they fired all of their engineers because of some bad no things.
Well, I can see why you like them.
Yeah, it's great. They have. Now Joseph Newgarden, prior to last year, he did win 2 consecutive times.
So, do your favorite drivers drive for Team Penske? Then
Yes.
is that sort of
Yes.
all one
Yeah,
package?
Joseph Newgarden drives the 2 car. Scott McLaughlin drives the 3 car, and David Malukas drives the 12 car.
Are they yellow since they're Penske? Are they yellow cars?
Actually, the number 3 car is a bright yellow Pennzoil car. So yes, I mean it's not Penske, but
Not Penske.
yeah.
So, who do you have a prediction? Who's going to win?
I think one of 2 things is going to happen. Either Scott Dixon is finally going to win it, and that would be like Tom Brady finally winning a Super Bowl. I know that Tom Brady had a lot of success.
He's been like a lot. He's been close a lot, right?
Yeah. He's been really close. Problem is he usually gets in his own way. Usually has a pit stop penalty or something that completely takes him out of the race. But I think his teammate Alex Palou is going to go 2 years in a row. Palou 2 in a row. You know. Okay, Dr. Seuss.
Who's going to be last?
Who's going to be
last?
last?
But finish, not like DNF, like actually finishes the race, but in last place of the finishers.
Part of me hopes it's Santino Ferrucci.
We don't like him?
I don't like him at all. No.
He's got a fun name, though.
He does, but he's a little bit of an arrogant twig.
Oh.
So
Gosh.
we don't like him. However, I will say this, and I think you'll appreciate this. For the first time in motorsports history, that day, it used to be, not anymore because Formula One went and screwed up the schedule. It used to be like Christmas for motorsports because 9 a.m. was for the Formula One race in Monaco. And then at noon, you have the Indy 500 in Indianapolis. And then at 6 p.m., you have the Coke 600 in Charlotte with NASCAR. So my brother and I would always joke that it's Merry Monaco Coca-Cola Day. Because
there have been a number of drivers that have done the Indy and then the Coca-Cola.
Well,
right? Like they helicopter or something?
Yes, they call it the double. And it was just announced yesterday that the first female driver is going to attempt the double. Catherine Legg is going to run 500 miles in Indianapolis. She'll fly to Charlotte, and she'll get in the 78 Live Fast Motorsports car, and she'll drive 600 miles in the Coke 600. Now, there's only been one driver that's ever attempted it to complete all 1,100 miles.
I don't care how fast you're going. That's a lot of miles.
It is a lot of miles.
I mean, that's like in the movie Cars, when Lightning McQueen is racing on one and then he has to drive all the way across the country. He doesn't even drive. He's riding in Mack.
Poor Mac.
Is that the truck's name?
Yeah, poor Mac has to drive all the way.
And then he falls, I'll stay up all night with you. Remember that? I'll stay up all night with you. And then he falls asleep 10 seconds later. And he's like, I love that scene. Oh,
anytime
look
I
at
drive
all the sleeping trucks.
Anytime I drive past a rest area at night and I see all the semis there, that's the scene that I think of.
Absolutely.
Always.
Absolutely. First of all, I love, so when Harrison was younger, that was his favorite movie for a very long time. I think I watched parts of that movie, not the entire movie, but because we didn't let him watch the entire movie every night, but parts of that movie like 40 days in a row watching that movie. And it was about this time of year because his birthday's coming up. And so I think he was turning 4 or 5 or something, whatever. Like it's time for a big boy bed. So we redid his whole bedroom in Cars. We had the Cars valance over the windows and the bedspread and the trash can, like everything. There's stickers on the wall that were Cars stickers on the wall. And he loved it. He thought it was great. And then, that night, hey, what do you want to watch, buddy? How about Beauty and the Beast? little jerk. That's one of the best animated movies ever.
It's good.
I love that
it's
movie.
Good.
I love that movie. Call that. So the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, that's the name of the track itself, right? It's called but it's got a nickname, the Brickyard.
Yes.
That's got to have a significance.
Yeah. So when they first made the track years ago, we won't get too in depth in the history. It was literally a brick road, and now if you go to where the start finish line is, there's a stripe that is just bricks. And so that's, commemorative to the old racing service. And they actually, just this past fall, they took a couple core samples from another area of the track. And actually, I think they took out a good portion of the track. And they found the original bricks that were laid for the surface. And now I don't know if you've ever been to the track itself.
I have not.
It's massive. It is absolutely massive.
Well, it's a 2.5 mile oval.
Yes.
Or something, right?
Yes.
2.5 miles?
It is insanely huge. I don't know if you've ever seen the graphic that sometimes they'll post around this time of year where like you can put the Vatican and the Roman Colosseum, or like you can put all however many teams are in the Big Ten now. Isn't there like 75 teams in the Big Ten?
I think the Big Ten is 75, yeah.
Okay, yeah. You can fit all their football stadiums inside the infield.
Yeah.
So it's big. But they now have a museum in there, and so they're going to take a lot of those bricks and do a little display in the museum. I think that's pretty cool. There's 3 holes of golf course on the infield. So the rest of the course is on the outside of the track. So once you finish, I think it's like the 15th hole or something like that, then you have to go under the tunnel on the backstretch, and then you can finish the course in the infield.
The finish is on the inside of the track.
Yes. Yeah, and then you drive back out and go to the clubhouse.
Like a par 4 and a 5 and a 3 or something?
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
It's massive.
I didn't know that.
And actually, if you go down for a road course race, I was down there one time, and you can actually sit on the fairway of one of the holes and watch the race from the backstretch.
And you've been to the race a number of times. How many times have you been, do you know?
3 or 4.
Oh, okay. I thought it was more than that. But what do you love about the day?
Well, anytime I've taken somebody new to this race, they always laugh at me because we'll stay We'll stay somewhere outside the Beltway. But then I'll say, we need to leave at 4:30 or 5 o'clock in the morning. Now, mind you, the race doesn't start until 1:30. And then I always go to McDonald's and get like 15 or 20 sausage McMuffins.
That's a lot of sausage McMuffins.
It is a lot of sausage McMuffins. So we always park at Speedway High School, which is just west of the track. It's about a 3/4 mile walk from the track. But when you park there, your parking fee goes to the band parents for Speedway High School, and then their marching band, they march down the front stretch in some of the pre-race activities and all kinds of stuff. So I like supporting the kids. Well, we go there, we tailgate a good bit. A good bit. That's when you eat half of your sausage McMuffins. And then you walk your way to the track. Gates open at 6 a.m. And usually if we leave at 4:30 or 5 o'clock, that parking lot is almost full by the time we get there, which is around 6:15. Walk to the track, walk around and do all kinds of things. You can go to the infield and do all the pre-race activities and whatnot. Find your seats, and then it's obviously Memorial Day weekend, so you have a huge patriotic pre-race ceremony back home again in Indiana. Thunderbirds flying over, helicopters flying down the front stretch. It's incredible. I get goosebumps every single time.
It's a thing.
It's a thing. And then they do 500 miles, 200 laps. And then when you leave, mind you, there's usually between 350 and 375,000 people there.
Sure.
In the infield, it's called the Snake Pit, where they have a big music festival, and there's a lot of people that don't even know there's a race going on. They're just there for the music, but you'd never even know that concert's going on either. But everybody leaves at the same time. So you are literally, you are shoulder to shoulder with people as you're walking away. One thing, it's so fun to me because you're walking in a neighborhood that's much like the neighborhood here. You're walking in this neighborhood, and then all of a sudden there's the Brickyard. There's the track. But everybody that lives in those neighborhoods,
Well, it has to be somewhere.
yeah, well, yeah. But typically, like if you think about football stadiums and all that stuff, they've got big parking lots around and all that. So, I mean, it's not... Anyways, well, as you're walking back, you're walking past all these houses. Well, a lot of kids will have lemonade stands and stuff out. So you can pay $1 and get a glass of lemonade.
Sure.
And I got to be honest with you, it's some of the best lemonade I've ever had in my life. So we get that walking back.
You're so thirsty and dehydrated from an entire day in the beating sun.
Yeah, there is that.
And it's all of the exhaust fumes you've been sucking into your lungs all day too.
You got little pellets of rubber all over to you from the tires.
Sounds like a fantastic day.
Great. It's great.
That I never want to participate in.
But
But
I tell you what, after a long day like that, there's nothing like getting back to the car
and eating another 20 Egg McMuffins
and eating another sausage McMuffin that's been sitting on the dash the whole time and nice and warm in the big sun.
Well, you got to keep it warm.
Yeah.
I thought you were going to take the sausage McMuffins and leave them like breadcrumbs so that you remember where you parked.
No. I mean, it's usually okay to find out where you parked.
Well, if you park in the same plot every time.
Yeah. Now, the other nice thing about going to races like this, and this is, NASCAR, IndyCar in general, you can take literally any food or beverage in with you. As long as it's not in a glass bottle, so you have to leave your milk at home. As long as it's not in a glass bottle, you can take it with you.
You have your milk in a glass bottle?
Well, sometimes people do. They sell it at Manly's in a glass bottle.
My milk always comes in plastic.
Okay.
My almond milk's in a cardboard carton.
Okay, peasant.
Yes, I am. Yes, I am, as a matter of fact. Is Ricky Bobby, is he in the race this Sunday?
No, he's not in the race this Sunday.
He's not.
No,
because he says if you're not first, you're last.
That's right.
Which is pretty stupid to say, but
that's what Sebulba says.
No, I don't think he said that.
Oh no, he says something more like, "I'm not even going to attempt."
I think you're thinking of Tom Cruise from Days of Thunder.
Oh,
remember that movie?
I do remember
where
that
they
movie.
raced the rental cars, like the Ford Taurus.
Cars that's
through the town or whatever.
Yeah, and then they race wheelchairs.
Yeah, is that
shortly after that?
That's Days of Thunder.
Yep.
Yeah, because Tom Cruise gets hurt. Days of Thunder is essentially Top Gun in cars. Like, he's not good enough, go fast, goes too fast, his friend dies, he gets traumatized, he comes back and wins or something.
And I would say that's probably one of my more favorite Robert Duvall appearances. He's good in a lot of things, but he is really good as a
in
crew
a
chief.
lot of things. We were just watching something the other day, and Robert Duvall was. I can't remember what it was, but what is your favorite? Do you have a favorite like auto racing movie? Can't say Cars because that's obviously the best auto racing movie ever. So you can't say Cars.
I would say probably Ford versus Ferrari.
I knew you'd pick something realistic.
That's good.
Yeah, I've
That's
not
a
seen
good
it.
one.
I like Talladega Nights. I think that's my favorite auto racing movie. That's not named Cars.
I'm happy for you.
But like with every other Will Ferrell movie, like the first time I thought it was really stupid. And then the second time I was like, and then it's like, this is hilarious.
Yeah.
It is a little baby Jesus prayer
Yeah.
that keeps going on. All right, well, I hope your racer wins this week,
Me too.
or at least doesn't crash.
Well, actually, Scott McLaughlin didn't even make it to lap 1 last year, so I mean, he could make it past turn 1 and still be more.
Has there ever been a crash right in, because from your seats, because the track is so big, you only see like 2% of the race.
I have never actually seen an accident.
You've never seen
at
an
the track.
accident like in
No.
front of you?
Because it usually happens in the turns.
Right.
Usually happens in the turns because there's passing that goes on there, aerodynamics change, they get a little loose, and then they end up thrown into the wall, and
Yeah.
that's no good. But
Yeah.
no, I've never actually seen a wreck where I am.
All right. Well, that's good. I mean, we don't want them to wreck, but there's enough safety involved that usually people are all right.
Yeah, typically.
Remember when Ricky Bobby's running around screaming about it being on fire?
His pants on fire.
And
Yeah.
he's not actually on fire. You're fine, Ricky Bobby.
Actually, you know what? Now that you mention that, that's how work has felt this week.
That your pants are on fire?
Yeah, I'm just running around yelling and screaming, acting like I'm on fire.
Yeah, well, I mean,
That's okay.
as long as there's not an actual fire,
No.
you're just fine.
Yeah, we're good.
Well, enjoy the rest of Speed Week. I hope your racer wins. And I don't know, let me know who wins because I won't watch, probably.
Okay, I'll tell you.
The Derby I'll watch, the Indy 500. I mean, the Derby only takes 2.5 minutes. The Indianapolis 500, like 17 hours.
But you know what's interesting?
Nothing. Nothing is interesting.
Well, I mean, but after 500 miles, it could still be just as close as the Derby was.
It could be.
Could be. And another little fun fact. Did you know that somebody from Defiance has won the Indy 500?
Yeah. I should know that name.
Sam Hornish Jr.
Sam Hornish Jr.
And he didn't lead a single lap that race. In fact, he wasn't even leading when they got to pit entry. But he still won the race.
Still, you only need to lead the race for 1/10 of a second. As
That's
long
right.
as it's the last 10th of a second. It's like Lightning McQueen when he sticks out his tongue.
Basically. Yes.
Same thing.
Essentially.
Same thing.
Exact same thing.
Have a great week. Enjoy the rest of your milk.
No, breathe. Find your happy place.
Why are you counting the days? That phrase, only blank days until summer. Why are you counting? What message is that sending to your kids, to your colleagues, to your administrators? Or if you are a student, what message is it sending to your teachers? Administrators, what message is it sending to your teachers? I know you all need a break. I do. I understand. But I had a colleague one time that always said, there are 180 days of school, and today is one of them. Every day counts. Let me read you an excerpt from the book, Kids Deserve It. Quote, kids deserve an excited adult. They need someone who's ready to explore and laugh with them all day. Someone who's looking for those magical moments, full of high fives, coming down the line with energy radiating all around. Our kids have far more issues to deal with at home than many of us even realize. School is their safety net, their safe place, their one true home. They want and need us to come to school every day, ready to surround them with love, encouragement, and hope. Leave your problems in your car, take a deep breath, and focus on the positive. Find hope. Kids need the best you. Step out and be your best every single day. Be awesome. The kids deserve it. End quote. Your kids deserve you every day. You deserve the best you every day. Even the day the kids drive you crazy. Do you remember during COVID when we all promised each other never to take another day for granted? Do you remember that feeling of not knowing that that was our last class with those kids? It was our last concert with those kids, our last rehearsal with those kids, our last smile, our last "have a nice day, Mr. Sloan" from those kids. Sometimes you know it is your last. You retire and you walk away with a wooden bell and a severance package. But sometimes you don't. Sometimes you get the closure, and sometimes you don't. COVID, illness, accidents, sudden end to a career that wasn't your choice. You just never know. And if you think you know, I'm here to tell you, you don't. And you won't have enjoyed the last rehearsal, the last concert, the last smile, the last "have a great day, Mr. Sloan." Not like you should have anyway. You'll probably dismiss it a little bit because there will be a next time. There will be a next rehearsal. There will be a next concert. There will be a next "have a great day, Mr. Sloan." Because you didn't know it was your last. Kids deserve your best every day, and you deserve your best every day. Embrace the tired. Embrace the frustration. Embrace the chaos. What I wouldn't give for some tired, frustrated chaos followed by "have a great day, Mr. Sloan." Stop counting the days. There's 180 of them, and they deserve your best in all 180. Start thanking God that you get those days. Today's rant may or may not relate to specific instances in my life, but also thanks to the anonymous listener for sending in the idea. Do you feel better? I don't feel better. Not really. But maybe someday.
Homework for the week. We are on week 4 of our summer reading suggestions. Dawn, why don't you go first this week?
All right, so this week we've been calling all of these beach reads, and they aren't necessarily all what people would think of as a beach read, like a rom-com, right, is what I think of as a true beach read.
Sure.
But this week I'm going true, solid beach reads, but well-written solid beach reads.
There you go.
Because that's key. So my reads for this week are Malibu Rising by Taylor Jenkins Reid. If you haven't read TJR, like every book she writes is fantastic. Daisy Jones and the Six, also one of my favorites. But Malibu Rising is about a surfer, and it has the rom-com thing going on, but also lots of just relationship drama and just a really interesting story. The characters are super well developed, and it's a solid A+ beach read. And then my second one is not a specific book, but I'm just going to say read anything by Ellen Hildebrand. Every book she writes, or most of them anyway, are set in Nantucket. And so you have that very nautical, rich people beach vibe going on. Some are more romance. Some are a little more on the mystery. Some get a little more out there with like some ghosts in an old hotel, and she mixes it up a little bit, but any Ellen Hildebrand is a well-written, solid beach read.
So my 2 for this week are books I actually have literally read at a beach by accident. In both cases, we were on a vacation. One was a long time ago, before Harrison was born. It was our last you and me vacation. Well, not totally true. We went to Vegas on our own, but before Harrison, our last vacation before Harrison was born, or before you were even pregnant. I took a book with me. I don't remember what that book was, but I finished it really fast. And so I said, "What do you got?" And you had a book that you had already finished, and you said, "This is not a great book, but go for it." And it was absolutely a beach read. I wish we spent 2 hours the other night looking for the name of this book. It was a book about vampires living in, I think, New York or somewhere very metropolitan-ish.
City for sure.
They went clubbing and wore kitschy outfits and just drank martinis and had relationships, and it was a total rom-com, but they were vampires, and it was just, I don't know, I mean, I wouldn't call it a great book, but I could not put it down. The next one was just a couple of summers ago that I read this. Same thing. It was actually, I read Born to be Run in the first couple of days of our vacation and ran out of books. I didn't have my iPad with me to download anything else, and we were in an Airbnb. And on the shelf, in most Airbnbs, they have games or movies or books. This one had books. All right, well, so I picked this book up off the shelf. You and Harrison were at the beach. Anybody knows, if you listen to this podcast, I do not like the beach. It was the fourth day in a row I'm like, I cannot do this again. I stayed back at the B&B and I just started reading this book. 4 hours later, I'm like halfway through this book and you guys come in, what are you reading? I said, I don't know. This is this book called We'll Always Have Summer. And you both started laughing and I'm like, what's so funny? And like, is it good? I don't know. It's not that great. Well, so this is the third book of a trilogy called,
The Summer I Turned Pretty.
The Summer I Turned Pretty
is the first one.
And so it's about this girl and her boyfriend dies or something, and then she has to decide between the two brothers whether she's going to marry the one and not the other. And I mean, there was a TV show series about this too, or something. A very popular series, again, with young adults, teenagers, mostly girls,
Definitely
probably.
like a preteen chicklet. Yeah.
I could not put this book down. I read it in, I think, a day and a half. So it was the third book. I feel like there was enough backstory along the way that I didn't miss any. I didn't even know it was the third book until you guys told me it was the third book.
And he was into it. Don't let him fool you, because we would come in out of the water and he would tell us, oh, she really loves this guy and not that one. And
fully admit I was 100% into this book. Highly recommended. So if you know what the vampire book is, go for it. Otherwise, my recommendation this week is We'll Always Have Summer, or read all three, whatever you want. We'll see you next week.
Okay, that's the show. Make sure to leave a rating, drop a comment, or send a message on the app of your choice. You can text the show with the link at the bottom of the description, or check out our merch store at themarchingarts.com/RHS and our YouTube channel at Robert H. Sloan RHS Music. We hope you'll join us next week for a discussion on teacher mental health and summer break with trained therapist Nicole Byram. And aren't you glad it's almost summer? Thanks for joining me today. The theme music is Superfly, written by me, copyright RHS Music. The show logo is designed by John Suh, and our producer is my sister, Kathy. I hope you'll join us next time for more reflections and rantings on symbols and cynicism.